The area that we attended classes was on one floor, but when you went in the front of the school, there were stairs. The ones on the left led down to the girls' bathroom. The ones on the right led into the other part of the whole basement, which the cafeteria then was way back on the left in the basement.
The Phelps Road Elementary School, which was right next door, and the Elon Elementary, and the Monroe Elementary. And the word Madison, my mama coined. M-O-N from Monroe, E-L-I from E-L from Elon, and I-S-O-N from Madison.
Uh-huh.
And that was the name of the yearbook, and now it's used through the community. And it was the same school my mother had gone to for high school, so it had been there quite a while. So I think she finished in 27. Well, it was one big square, long building square, and the auditorium was in the center. And all the classrooms opened into the auditorium, and then there were two back wings that had other classrooms off of them. The auditorium I told you about to begin with had a wooden floor, and the way they cleaned it was to oil it, and it's a wonder we didn't go up in flame. I mean, really.
What is the Madison Heights Phelps Road School look like today?
A wreck.
What happened?
Well, they tore down the main auditorium that I kept talking about and put a cafetorium there and turned it all into an elementary school. And at some point after I had taught there, which would have been later than 68 or 69, that part of the building caught on fire. And it's never had much done to it since, because by that time they were moving out of that building. They didn't need it anymore.
We rode a long yellow bus that had seats, long seats on it. Clyde Clemens provided bus service.
No, it wasn't 8th grade. It was like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
So was there no 8th grade?
No.
You were in 7th grade.
You're
and then
7th
you were
grade and you go
freshman.
right to high school.
What subjects do you remember studying at Madison Heights High School?
Science, history, math, English.
Did you study foreign language?
I had 1 year of foreign language.
What was that?
Spanish.
Well, Miss Christine told them to give me subjects to go to Sweetbriar. And so they started me, and one thing that really I didn't like was Latin. And we had to have 4 years of Latin to go to Sweetbriar.
How many foreign languages were available for study?
Well, I know Latin and Spanish and perhaps French, I'm not sure. A lot of times it depended on what the students needed to qualify for their college entrances. We had 2 years of algebra, geometry, and trigonometry.
And there was no advanced mathematics beyond that available?
No.
You know, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And that was a pretty, and phys ed, that was pretty much basic. You could go through geometry on a regular basis. They didn't teach trigonometry but every other year.
One of the teachers that I had a tremendous respect for, her name was Kate McDermott. Mrs. McDermott was the science lady. She was the science math lady. She was it, and I really liked her.
What do you remember about her that made her a special teacher?
She was very, very stern. He said she was, you know, she really, you know, it was kind of like if she was going to take her time to teach you, she wanted you to learn. That's it.
In high school, I think my favorite teacher was Ms. McDermott. She taught geometry. And geometry just seemed to fit me for some reason, doing the proofs.
Mrs. Fraley was a very good teacher. She taught me. I had English under her. Mrs. McDermott was a very good teacher. I did science with her.
Did you get to do any dissections?
Yes.
And what did you dissect?
A frog, I think.
I took typing in high school as a course. Learned how to type, which I think has done me well. I'd hate to think that I could not type. Okay.
I appreciated my typing. And that was a commercial subject. I was not in the commercial line, but I found that to be very, very valuable when I went to Sweetbriar, when I had to type my term papers. I found it to be a very valuable tool, and on the computer.
I had to write one term paper. Before I went to college, I had written one term paper.
And what was that about? Do you remember?
I remember very well. I have it in my old scrapbook over at Mama's house. It was about juvenile delinquency. And I don't know how I got interested in that.
They really stressed English. But I learned when I got to Sweetbriar, we did not have enough experience in creative writing that we should have had.
The government, I remember we had government our senior year in high school. But the other was just history.
Madison Heights was very limited on lab facilities and lab supplies and so forth. So our lab work was not as detailed as a lot of other schools had. We were very limited into how much. Mostly demonstrations.
Mrs. Kelly taught music, and that was my favorite subject, really. No, it was just a fun thing, and I learned a lot from her.
And what kind of music did you do?
We did Ave Maria for our graduation.
With no band. We ended up with a small group. They had an instructor, music instructor from the city of Lynchburg, came out and worked with us for, I don't know, the biggest part of a year. And
So what did you play?
tenor saxophone.
In high school, there was this English teacher that was brought in. She planned some sort of production with music, and one of the songs was When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, and I was the only one with red hair. So I had to walk across the stage as an Irish girl.
Oh, I took home ec. They taught home ec in high school.
How did you do in home ec?
I loved it. I had a young teacher, and we had two boys who took home ec with us. The 1 year. They were, we liked having the boys in the class. And we had a home ec cottage that was a building. So they really taught you a lot of skills, housekeeping and cooking skills that you could use as a homemaker.
Just out of curiosity, the boys who took those classes, had their mothers passed away, or why?
I don't think so. I never could understand. I think they just wanted credit.
Uh-huh.
And maybe this was available, and we had a young, pretty teacher, and we always said that they signed up for that because they liked the teacher.